What's up, everybody? Welcome out to our 6 o'clock live stream. We're actually on time for once. It's a goddamn miracle.
It's a miracle.
It's a Christmas miracle. Anyhow, hope you all had a great, safe, happy week. We got some topics we're going to talk about tonight. I know I put on the thumbnail about do you eat before you go to a tattoo appointment, and I also have other stuff we're going to talk about. So I think that, you know, the topic of eating before you go to your appointment came up during a general conversation. Justin has his own stories about his little personal things that he's noticed, and then I'm going to talk about some stuff that I've had to deal with during my own tattoo sessions, and we're just going to talk about how important it is to make sure you eat before and after, actually, your tattoo appointment. Then we're going to get into some other news. We're trying to stay away from tattoo news right now because it's only revolving around one topic that we're not going to get into because we don't do politics. And, you know, I'd rather not. So
did you just see the expression on my face?
Yeah.
I don't even know what you're talking about.
Right, exactly. So we have other topics that we can cover that are newsworthy. Matter of fact, we're going to talk today about the gathering of the tattoo people in London. Lau Hardy put it together, and we're going to talk about that. And we're also going to talk about, you know, me being lucky enough to go to the YouTube Creators event that happened up in Jersey City. So should be a cool, interesting
Can we talk about numbing cream?
live stream today. Yes, we could do that. You want to jump right into that?
Sure.
Yeah. Okay. So we've talked about numbing cream on this show before, and Justin actually found was it real?
Yeah, so it was a reel of a woman who tattoos who had gotten blackout sleeves. And the outside of her arms on the blackout sleeves were smooth and completely silky. And she said, I want to show you guys something.
Okay.
And she raised her arm and she said, I used numbing cream on part of this sleeve. Can you guess what part it is? And there was a clear line of demarcation between the smooth blackout and just this like choppy, it would just look different.
Right.
It was like, and she said, same artist, same shop, same general conditions.
Right.
And I don't think I'd ever noticed it so clearly before, because when you think about like any kind of even sleeve tattooing, you know, you have so many different like colors and so many different values in those colors. But this was just unrelieved black, so it was super obvious. It went from black to washed out black, back to black.
Right. And then, so, you know, I said to Justin, I said, that's because there is the petroleum stuff that's in the numbing cream. It has to be, because that's one of the reasons why, you know, tattoo artists tell you not to use a petroleum-based product when you're doing aftercare, because it's going to really, the petroleum is actually going to wind up like leaching the color out of the tattoo.
Yeah, it's going to clog the pores.
So I think that that's probably what's happening.
And it speaks to another thing too, like, so whenever you see reels of people getting tattooed on Instagram now, it always starts with the pulling off the plastic for the numbing cream. And so I think that that's really normalized. Like, there's a whole generation of people getting tattooed that just think that
Numbing cream is normal.
Yeah, and it's just, I'm not speaking for or against it, but really, as far as evidence of how it works or how it affects the tattoo, that is pretty much still out.
Yeah, but you know what, dude? I'm thinking that if the like, lady that posted that is saying, hey, you know, it's the same exact artist, but, you know, I had to go back for a second session, so nothing would have changed on the artist's end.
Right.
It's not like he would have changed ink.
Or style, or, you know, or shop conditions, or...
Yeah, so at that point, you know, it has to be.
So
that's almost a guarantee that it's the numbing cream.
And is there going to be more of this now? Because people just jumped in on this bandwagon, and like, is there going to be more and more people coming out saying the numbing cream affected the way the tattoo healed? Because tattooers are already talking about how it makes it more difficult. It changes the consistency of the skin. So it's just, you know, we got to be careful in tattooing, like the new shiny thing.
Right. Well,
and the other part of it is like the expectation. So I've noticed this a lot with my clients recently. You know, they'll come in, they'll be using the numbing cream properly, proper amount of numbing cream, and you try to explain to them, this is really just designed to take the edge off. Like, this is not a local anesthetic where they're
It's not going to get rid of the pain completely.
right, where they're giving you an IV of whatever they give you when they give you stitches or something.
It's lidocaine. It's the same
Lidocaine.
thing.
Right. But people are really have this expectation now that they're not going to feel the tattoo at all,
Right.
versus it's going to be made bearable.
So I just noticed that Drag just said, and I did not know this until now, but here in Europe, no numbing cream. It's illegal. It's illegal.
Really?
That's
Those crazy Europeans.
I did not know that.
No.
That's interesting. And before we get too far into this, because I don't want to miss this comment, because the comments are rolling pretty good tonight, which is awesome. I like to see everybody taking part in this, because this is your show as well. Scott Force, he just said, damn, let's talk about Justin's clean cut look. You start preaching, brother?
Yeah, you like that? Summertime, baby.
Yeah, mine will be coming off probably tomorrow. I was going to do it today, but so I have a tendency to, I don't know though, because you know what? Now that I've been using the new beard oil, I don't think I'm going to have this problem. But before, I used to not use enough beard oil, and I would take my beard off, and then I would get like little blotchy red patches.
I thought that this was your beard being taken off.
Nah, man, I'm getting rid of all this stuff on the sides, dude. I'm out. I'm going back to goatee guy.
Ah.
I have to, dude, before I get on the plane. I can't fly with a beard. I can't. It's so Justin's laughing because he knows the story. I am apparently I'm on a list, and every time I fly, I get at least a secondary search. Also, depending on where I'm flying to or from, a tertiary search. They just stop short of probing, and yeah. So I figure get rid of the beard. It gives me a little bit better shot of not getting yanked for a tertiary search. I mean, I went to see Britt Floyd last night. I got pulled off to the side for that.
Really?
Yeah. So, look, man, it just kind of is what it is. It's getting hot here anyway on the East Coast.
Absolutely.
Apparently here in Pennsylvania, where we are located, we no longer have 4 seasons. We just have 2 seasons now. We go from winter to summer, summer to winter. There is no more spring or fall. I don't know what the hell's going on, but I guess I'm okay with it. I mean, I like spring and I like fall, so that kind of sucks, but whatever. I can't control that.
So I was leaving Jamaica with my ex-wife, right, who had a water bottle filled with sand in her carry-on,
Yeah.
right? Right, so a water bottle filled with like a powdery substance, right?
Well, that's definitely going to look sus.
Right? So they just let her on like
Really?
nothing.
Dude,
So, but who do they pull out of line?
you?
Absolutely. I'm not carrying the sand.
Yeah, you know what? We were talking about this last night because the one guy that I went to the concert with, him and I traveled together for work at one point.
What is Britt Floyd?
And I'll tell you. So he said to me, we were joking about it because when I would travel with him, he would just go, all right, man, I'll meet you at the coffee shop, because I would always get pulled aside for an extra search. So it became this thing where he would just be like, I'll meet you over at the coffee shop. And I'm like, all right, man, later. Well, we had to go to Toronto for work. And they weren't going to let me in Canada. And I was there for work to go meet with the president of the company for work. And they weren't going to let me in the country. And I was like, why? What's going on? And they were like, well, why are you here? And I'm like, for work. And then they were like, well, where are you staying? And I'm like, why do you need to know that?
Ah, wrong answer.
I mean, I told them.
Right,
But why do you
right.
need to know that?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, so it's crazy, man. I have enough problems traveling. So since I'm going to Reno, I'm going to go ahead and get rid of the beard and go back to goatee. It might increase my chances of not getting those searches, but hey, you never know.
So funny story about Canada, traveling to Canada. Silent Bob from View Askew, Silent Bob and Jay,
Yeah.
right? He was a huge pothead,
Yep.
right? So he gets busted, or his van gets busted on the border Would they find some shake,
Yeah.
right? So they're holding him because he's it's his van,
It's his production company.
right? So they're holding him, right? And then they come into the room and they're like, "Listen, we found this in the van, but it's been decided that because you are a cultural asset to the people of Canada, the people of Canada like you so much that we're going to let it slide this one time."
It's crazy, dude.
So they straight up caught the dude and still let him in the country.
And here I am. I have not done anything wrong.
Right.
And I can't get past, just the regular, walk through the thing, be on your way. So, whatever, man. You know what?
It's not easy being.
That's a good
greasy.
segue, though, because it's coming. The Lady Luck Tattoo Convention, May 29th, 30th, and June 1st. I will be there with a booth doing interviews and live streaming, hopefully, depending on how good the internet connection is in the building. I didn't think about that, but I'll definitely be doing interviews. So look out for us if you have a chance to go. Make sure you, stop in and check me out, man. Say hello, get a sticker, I'll have stuff with me. So Justin is also going to be at the New Jersey Ink Fest. And
Yay.
Justin's going to be fanboying over the Sons of Anarchy dudes.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Is it Tig?
Nah, it's Bobby, the fat dude.
Oh, yeah, we went over this.
Yeah,
What
Bobby
about the
and
dude with
Happy.
the... Oh, yeah.
David LaBrava. Dude, I was never into that show, man. I mean, I watched it. I watched it after the fact, though. Like, it was already over and done with and all that, and I watched it I was like, I thought it was a joke.
I watched it when I wasn't that into motorcycles.
Yeah, well,
I mean, I grew up with motorcycles and all, but it was before I actually...
I was living the life already, so it didn't. Thank you, sir, for the $5 super chat. I was already living life, so to me it was.
So the dude, the Scott,
joke.
right? The Scott from that show, he was also in Braveheart.
I don't know.
The guy with the Glasgow smile.
Oh yeah. Yep.
He was a DJ, right?
Chibs.
He was a DJ and got into some trouble, right?
Well, no, I think he was saying it had something to do with soccer hooligans.
Wow, Jesus.
Because that was big in Glasgow back then. Anyhow, so yeah, I will be at the Lady Luck Tattoo Expo. Justin will be at the New Jersey Ink Fest that weekend. We're gonna try to do coverage in 2 different places, coast to coast.
Right.
Look at that, going international. Or national, I should say.
National.
I'd love to go international, but we ain't that kind of show yet. Anyhow, I want to tell everybody that I did get to go to this YouTube creator event. It was in Jersey City, man.
I got left at home.
Well, unfortunately, dude, I couldn't even bring a +1 because it's an invite-only event, and it gave me the opportunity to. There's my little picture of me standing in front of the. I didn't even want to do the damn thing, but I was like, you know what? YouTube was nice enough to invite me. I'm gonna go. It was really cool though, man. I got to meet some a lot bigger channels. Obviously, I met some dude that his parents own a Subway or something, and he makes Subway sandwiches and has 6.8 million followers. And I'm thinking to myself, man, how the hell does a low-effort channel like that get 6.8 million subscribers? But good for him, man. But it was also a really good opportunity for me to, pick the brains of some of the YouTube people. I had questions that I've been trying to get answers to that I couldn't, and gave me an opportunity to answer or ask those questions, and then also network. And to me, that event was, it reminded me of back in the day, being in the music business, dude, when it was all about networking. The saying, like, it's who you know. That's where networking comes into it. So I don't think who knows if anything will even come out of that. Thank you, Bill, for the $5 super chat.
Thank you, Bill.
Much appreciated. I don't know if anything will come of it, but hey, look, it was a cool opportunity for me to hang out with a bunch of fellow YouTube creators and see what they're doing that's working and what not doesn't work. And
See, that always fascinated me about corporate rock,
okay,
was that behind the show that we see, right? And the show on and off the stage,
yeah,
there's the complete other,
slew of people that do their job.
right, absolutely.
Yeah,
The people that keep the tours running, the people that keep the sound running, the people, and then the corporate people, right, to crunch the numbers. What markets are we going to release the record in?
yep.
You know, there's, yeah.
It's pretty in depth, man. But anyway, Brit Floyd, they're actually a touring tribute band. Chris Hawkins with the $4.99 super chat. Thank you so much, sir.
Yeah. Do they do the laser show, the whole nine?
Dude, yes. I actually tried to go live last night. I think I saw Chris pop in to the live on Instagram. I have videos of it. I'll show you after the show. Obviously, I can't play them online because I'll get jammed up with copyrights. But that's a subject that got me thinking. How are they able to tour making money off of covering Pink Floyd songs? Do they have to give some of their money?
Absolutely.
They have to. I would think.
Absolutely.
I don't know how tribute bands work because to me it just baffles me that somebody can actually tour professionally playing somebody else's music.
Well,
The only thing I will say though, not to cut you off, but I've got to talk about this before I forget, is they actually had Roger Waters' son playing keyboards. He joined them, they said, like 20 shows ago. So it's not like he's a normal, regular member of Brit Floyd, but he was there with them. And I did notice that if you've ever seen videos of Pink Floyd, they have that circular thing in the back of the stage. They were using some of the same video footage that, I saw Pink Floyd in 1994, I think it was the Division Bell album. It was the Pulse Tour, I think they called it. And yeah, man, they were using some of the same video footage, which was kind of cool. But they had full all out with lasers and all that, man. It was pretty. They even had the inflatable pig with the eyes that were on.
Nice.
I was like, damn, dude. And they're pretty. They're. I tell you what, man. They sound really, really close. Really, really close. Props to the sound guy. You'll probably never see this, but you, sir, did a fine job. You were just waffling your compressor a little bit for my taste, but okay.
So, it's the same thing as like in the hardcore and the punk scene, right?
Yep.
Like I just saw Fear, which means I saw the lead singer of Fear with 4 young guys.
Yeah.
There's a lot of that, like in metal and in punk and hardcore now.
Just like when we saw Murphy's Law, the only original member is the lead singer.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, look, if they got to go and make their money, they got to make their money, right?
So it's not necessarily a cover band, but it's pretty close.
Yeah, I see, but that to me is at least you have an original member in there. So to me, that's kind of that makes it not a tribute band or a cover band. But
Didn't the Four Tops eventually end up still being the Four Tops without any of the original members?
yeah, maybe. It was one of those bands from back in the day. Anyway, we're getting way off the topic of tattoos, which we're here to talk about today.
Papa was a Rolling Stone.
So,
the Temps. I'm sorry.
yeah, Chris
The
said
Temptations.
it looked pretty epic. I'll show you video, dude. I got some pretty good videos. But so we're going to talk about the eating before and after, or even let's say before, during, and after. Because I know that I'll take a break in the middle. Like, so if I have a 5-hour session, I'll be like 2 hours in, take a minute, sit down, eat a couple like peanut butter pretzels or some sugar or whatever. What kind of experiences have you had with people that didn't eat?
Well, they get a sugar drop, and then a lot of times they either. So there's definitely on your way to passing out, which most times I can stop people there.
Okay.
They're on their way to passing out, where they become really warm. That's like a huge sign. Like when
they're sweaty?
Their body temperature spikes.
Okay.
Like when I hear it's really warm in here, when they lose all color, that happens. And then, yeah, you just give them like some Pepsi or a candy bar, get their blood up again.
Do you feel like it's important to well, obviously we know it's important to eat pre. Like you should come in. I'm not saying like stop and have the goddamn Golden Corral buffet.
That's what I do.
Right before your session. Okay, but at least eat that day.
Well, I think it's important for us, but I seem to remember being 17 and like, I don't know, getting high and drinking all night.
Yeah.
Then like running the streets, then getting tattooed, then being awake for a couple more days. Like,
Yeah, well, I think that also falls into the same category that we talked about, where I think as you get older too, your pain tolerance just starts to get less and less.
right. Yeah, but at 18, it didn't matter. At 18.
Nah, dude. I mean, like I know that my pain tolerance used to be crazy high, and now as I get older, I definitely feel like my pain tolerance is a lot less. I mean, my mom was a nurse, and which is why she's in the hospital again. But
Prayers
nurses,
for Buck's mom.
nurses, thank you. Nurses are not really good patients because they know what is coming and they know what should be done. You know what I'm saying? And my
Right.
mom's not really like a bitch or anything, but well, she has her moments. But so my mom was an ER nurse. So my mom always had scissors and like stuff to sew, to do stitches and stuff like in her pocket of her coat. And
I seem to recall a Buck story about
she tattooed me.
about your mom at a hospital one time.
Oh yeah. Well, my mom actually stitched me in the kitchen though one time, and I didn't. There was no Novocaine, no nothing. I think if I did that now, I'd be crying like a little girl.
I did that to a friend of mine.
You know what I do notice though, man, is I could sit through tattoos. I've been stitched. Had some pretty nasty surgeries, man. When I had to get my tooth fixed. I am a little girl when it comes to teeth, dude.
Everybody is.
Like, man, that's got to be some of the most excruciating pain. But, yeah, I feel like your pain tolerance as you get older just starts to get less and less. Matter of fact, there was a young girl that was at the creators thing for YouTube, and she was like, "Oh, I love tattoos, but I've never got one, and I want to get one." And I told her, I said, "Let me tell you." I go, "How old are you?" And she's like, "I'm 21." And I go, "If you're gonna get them now." I said, because as the older I get, the more painful they get. Not really that bad, but it's still enough where I'm like, I notice it.
I think the thing with the pain too is our generation of people getting tattooed, like, that was a point of pride, right? Like this, I can look at people and know that they've suffered for their tattooing. Like they've undergone pretty extreme duress, right?
Yeah.
Like your elbows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like my knee.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that we approached it as just part and parcel and something to be earned, right?
Yeah.
Like it was a sign of toughness. Oh, Jesus, that reminds me of something. Oh, Jesus in heaven. I'm so happy that I'm getting out of tattooing. I'm so happy that I'm going to be 54 this month, and then I'll probably not be tattooing in 10 years.
Okay.
I saw this thing today on Instagram, and it was this artist who was like, shops really have to step up and getting their artists work and promoting their artists and making sure their artists are being fed and making sure that the artist has a personally acceptable environment to work with their clients in. And I thought, only this generation, dude, only this generation of, if you're young, disregard what I'm saying, you're an exception to the rule. I'm just talking about every other tattooer that's younger than 25 would think that this guy's attitude was the tattoo shop is to cater to me. And my only responsibility is to do the tattoo work, not to promote myself, not to look out for the shop, not to like there used to be a thing with our business cards, right? Like as a shop owner, if you worked for me, you could have a business card under my shop name.
Okay.
Because in the end, like, it was my sign that people were seeing.
Right.
right? And you know, I had artists that had like trouble with that. And it's like, well, if you want your own personalized card, then you go work for yourself.
Right.
But as long as the physical location is my house,
Yeah. See, so I was always under the impression, and I mean, that it was always up to the tattoo artist. It was on you to promote yourself, to get your own work. I'm just
exactly,
essentially you're just renting a booth off of me.
for a percentage, right? But this guy's attitude was like, none of that hustle is the responsibility of the tattooer.
I
It's
completely
all the
disagree with
responsibility
that.
of the and but it's, I mean, I think it's indicative of
The attitude.
the attitude of some of the new generation of tattooers.
Okay, it could be. I mean, I don't know. Like I said, I was always under the impression it was up to the artist to get your own work, to get your own promotions, to do your own Instagram pictures, whatever it takes to do your promotion. Now that's on you, dude. It's not up to the shop. And if you're sitting there and you're not making no money, that's on you.
Right. That's the point.
Yeah, that's wrong. I
That's
mean, I don't know, dude. Let's before we keep rolling, man, let's say hello to some of the folks we got hanging out with us, because this way I have a question, or I have I guess like a favor to ask.
because that, you know, that thing I saw this morning, man, just took the heart out of me. I'm like,
Yeah, I could see that, dude. Don't let that stuff get you down, dude. It's not. I don't think it's everybody.
I throw a gas bomb on the bad guy. I don't understand.
So we got moderator Nikki hanging.
Hey, moderator Nikki.
We got Chris Hawkins and
Hawkins.
OG Sarah.
OG
Chris got
Sarah.
his chest done. It's complete now. He got the Dana Brunson
Does he?
3 horses.
Can he send a? I guess he can't comment a photo, can he?
Nah, I can't comment a photo. Scott Force hanging out with us. Got Bill O'Connell.
Send something to the email. We'll put it up next week.
Yeah, do that, dude. I'll do it. We got Drag hanging out. What's up, Bill Miko?
Hola.
We got Voodoo hanging.
Nah.
And we got, I know, I saw him. There he is. We got Fat Cracker hanging out with us.
Coming down the spiral staircase, Fat Cracker.
Shake City Live. We got Stephen Street hanging. And that's pretty much all our regulars hanging out with us tonight, which is awesome. He said he'll email it. Yeah, that's cool, man. We'll
Absolutely,
throw it
man.
up there. I saw it. It looked really good. I was like, damn, that's sweet, man.
Almost as if Dana can tattoo.
He can. And
Yeah.
he will. So, I have a favor to ask you guys. 2 favors. Because another one just came up to me. First one is, can you please like and share this real quick, so this way maybe it pushes it out to some more people. We can get some other people to hang out with us on a weekly basis. And if you can, if you use Instagram or Facebook, man, kind of, God bless you. Oh, no, you're yawning.
Excuse me.
You know, share our YouTube channel on your socials for us, just to get the word out, man. Maybe we get. And the other reason I'm asking this, because A, you're our family now, but B, it always blows my mind when we have new people that subscribe to the channel and they make comments where they're like, "Oh my God, this is awesome," or whatever, which is cool. Thank you. But I'm so happy I found this channel. And I'm like, if I could only find a couple thousand more of you, it would be beautiful. But to me, it's like, I don't understand why there's people obviously out there searching for tattoo history content. So I don't know why it's not going to those people. So I figured if you guys could do that for us, maybe it would start getting them in front of the right people. That's all. Obviously, we thank you for subscribing to us already and being a part of our little community here, but I just wanted to see if it makes a difference. I don't know if it will, but like I said, it's the only reason I'm asking is because it blows my mind every time that happens. It happened 3 times this weekend, and I was just like, whoa, what the hell, man?
Well, I mean, there's a social media industry, right? There's a whole industry based on
Yeah,
teaching people.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And I'm, to be honest, man, I'm not
How to,
real-
like,
I'm not
manipulate the
really
algorithm
good
and-
about the whole Instagram thing. I've been so focused on YouTube that I did, I'm not an expert by any means on either of them, but I definitely know less about Instagram than I do YouTube. So it's just, you know, a favor I'm asking of you guys. Let's get to some of these questions though, or comments, I should say. Sorry. So we have some comments about the tattooing. Stephen Street said, drink lots of water. That's a definite, man. What I did notice, and I actually talk about this on my video for prep, is not only drinking it the day of, but like if you know you're going to get a tattoo and next Monday or whatever, try to really start drinking some water, especially if you're somebody that doesn't drink a lot of water to begin with. I've actually started to drink nothing but water. I have like one soda every other day or something like that now. Like I have one right now because you just get to a point sometimes where you're just sick of water. I really feel like that's why I started to lose weight though, is because I just quit drinking soda and just drank nothing but water.
Isn't it wild that we have to get
ourselves.
You have to get physically prepared now?
No, but any little thing helps, man. And you know, if you go into an appointment to get a tattoo and you got crappy skin because you're so dehydrated or you haven't drank water and, you know, whatever, it's a valid point. Bill O'Connell said David Gilmour just played on the rapper Ice-T's band Body Count's song Comfortably Numb, used Pink Floyd music with Ice-T's lyrics. Gilmour and Rogers agreed to let him use it. First thing they agreed on. Yeah, that's true. You know, that's one of those things that kills me about that band is that the egos actually destroyed that band. Our moderator, Nikki, said, I always take a soda and candy bar for me and my artist. See, our moderator knows. Don't need his sugars dropping while he's tattooing me. I always ask, I call and say, hey, dude, remember last time when you did my knee? I was
Absolutely.
like, you want me to stop at Wawa for you? Scott Force said eating after is big also. We eat sugar in tattooing. Yeah, so I think that, you know, if you can bring some stuff to munch on during and then definitely after, man, to get your reset your levels. Because I guess all the endorphins and stuff or whatever deplete that. Drag says I not eat before, only one apple, don't need more. After I don't know what he was trying to say, but I think he's saying after he does eat. Fat Cracker, he said, haha, Nikki, I always bring food for the tattooer, usually something they never had before. I usually know what they haven't tried yet because all we talk about is food with his tattooer. It's a banh mi sandwiches. I think I've had that before. Bill O'Connell said, I left working in Harley dealerships years ago because it got too corporate. I just retired this past Monday from the Humane Society. I turned 62 in January. I'm going to ride and get tattooed. Hell yeah, man. That's awesome, dude. You know, Harley definitely has changed, and it's completely going the wrong direction. I could do a whole hour episode about that, but I won't because we have people here that don't ride. So, but Justin and I can both go off the rails on that discussion, dude. I have my very hard opinions about that. Scott Force said tattooing is, in its very nature, means you hustle. This is stemming from the lack of proper education, which is not offered freely, y'all. Okay. So what he's basically saying is because Scott's an OG, man. I mean, he's been tattooing a long time, but he's saying that, you know, I think some of these people that have been brought up haven't been brought up the right way. So Drag said, I did notice, I not notice it, still get once a week tattooed and no problem till now. So, yeah, I think as you get older, man. Yeah, happy belated birthday, Bill. Scott Force said, Buck, you all rocking. It takes time, but I'm hearing and saying your name quite a bit. Yeah, man, I appreciate it, dude. So just so our listeners know, we talked about Beaver Duck
Oh yeah.
last week, and Scott is actually friends with those guys from Beaver Duck, and he told them about us. And then the dude from Beaver Duck hit me up on Instagram. Those guys have some funny videos, dude. Uh, yeah, everybody's saying happy birthday and congratulations to Bill. That's awesome, dude. You're getting to retire. Sarah said, I always have a good breakfast before usually bacon and eggs. I'll bring a couple cookies for during the tattoo and after I get a pizza. Nice. I like that. Lumina Studio, this is Stephen Street, said Lumina Studio has free snacks. Lumina in Malvern, UK. That's awesome, dude. All right. So, hey, and Luz showed up. What's up, man?
So probably the funniest,
You're never late, Luz.
one of the funniest things that ever happened to me is this little dude came in. So I'm like 6 foot tall, basically, and I'm gonna say that he was 5'2", 5'3", smaller guy, slim, and most of you probably know that 7-Eleven. I don't know if they have 7-Elevens in Europe.
Yeah, yeah.
All right. So he's got a 7-Eleven Big Gulp cup, right? He fills out the paperwork, gives me the ID, no problem, and he's just chugging this Big Gulp, right? So between the time that he finishes the paperwork and I start the tattoo, I don't know what was in that Big Gulp cup, but he went from sober to wasted.
So he probably snuck some booze in there.
I mean, I don't mean
no,
from
probably
like
he did.
I don't mean like from sober to like slightly buzzed. I mean like sober to wasted, to the point where like I'm trying to get him out of the booth, right? And he's such a small guy that I actually like sort of pick him up like a piece of luggage to carry him under my arm to like walk him to the door. And he grabs the door frame and he's like screaming because he thinks I'm gonna beat his ass outside the shop for being drunk or something. And I'm not. I'm just trying to get the dude out of the shop. But I'll never forget him like holding out for dear life, like
Yeah, well, he definitely snuck some vodka or something
Jesus.
in there, man. That's or some scissor.
And then another time. So when I tattooed in Jersey, our releases were really detailed, like really ironclad. So I'm tattooing this young lady.
You had to be though because of the military base,
Yeah.
right?
And suddenly, like, she starts seizing. She starts shaking. Her eyes roll back in her head. She's having like a really violent reaction. And her mom was there, and she's like, "It's all right. It's all right. This happens to her."
So she might be epileptic or
Right.
whatever.
So at the end of the tattoo, I'm like, not for nothing, but by the way, the next time she gets tattooed, tell the fucking tattooer before.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, it scared me, man.
Yeah, I'm sure, man.
It wasn't just the whole like passing out.
You were you tattooed right there basically off base.
Right off base, yeah.
And so we just said about like you have an ironclad, right? It's interesting, man, that I'm working on the Cap Coleman thing, and I know I keep promising you guys it'll be done, but I did get sidetracked with my mom and all that. It'll definitely be out by Wednesday. I can guarantee you that it's like 90% edited at this point, so I will definitely have it out Wednesday morning. Keep your eye out for it. But I was looking at these articles, and they were talking about how like the military kind of didn't really say anything about getting tattooed. They weren't for it by any means, but what they were saying was you didn't want to wind up in the infirmary. Because if you wind up in the infirmary, it was like more penalty. Like, I don't know if those guys would get like, knocked down like levels or whatever.
Maybe
but
like conduct.
I was trying to kind of, I was in the middle of doing two other things while I was.
You mean in Coleman's time?
Yeah.
Conduct unbecoming?
Something, I don't know. I don't want to say that, yes, that's what it was. But I caught the reference of it being, it's okay about getting tattooed, but don't get to the point where it's infected and you wind up in an infirmary. Because it had something to do with them missing time or whatever. So it was like this, but.
So my friend Corey was a recruiter. He was in the Navy. And what he explained to me that at any given time, based on the country's military needs, different branches that all have different functions will tighten or loosen their regs on tattooing. So that some kid from Pigsnout, Arkansas, like if we need Marines, and he goes to the Army office, and they're like, well, we can't really bring you to the Army because your neck's tattooed, but the Marines can.
Mm-hmm.
But then, a couple years later, when we no longer need Marines and we need Army, it's the opposite. That's how they move back and forth. So what is okay at one point might not be okay at another point.
Well, now I mean they're gonna get rid of all that anyway because they're gonna be essentially getting tattooed right there on base with the new tattoo shops that are showing up on bases. That's crazy to me. Anyway, we got some other stuff we're going to talk about tonight. We just wanted to kind of cover the whole eating during the tattoo process because some stuff happened that brought it up. And
see, one more thing for the tattooers out there. So by and large, the worst reaction I've ever had to somebody getting tattooed, and it wasn't a painful tattoo spot, and it wasn't like a huge tattoo. It was just a physiological reaction to the guy's body. He pissed himself.
Really?
In the chair, yeah. Just however he was physically made up.
Yeah.
And it was like one of my best moments as a tattooer because like I had a busy shop. My booth was right in the middle of the shop. And he pissed himself, right?
Yeah.
So me and the people that I worked with had to like sort of hustle him out the back to like avoid him being like completely
embarrassed,
humiliated.
Yeah, I know.
Because it wasn't like a pain reaction. It was just.
Yeah. I know when I was in London and we were talking with him. He was the one guy that was there at the shop was like one of those he was like a local dude that was always at the shop and telling all these crazy stories and stuff. And I was talking about a guy actually, dropped the deuce while he was getting tattooed. And I was like, oh my God, dude, like what the hell? You know what I mean? Like dude, that's crazy to me that would even happen. But, so Bill O'Connell just said it was an Article 15 in the military if you had problems from being tattooed. So what does an Article 15 entail, Bill? That's the part that I didn't get. Like, I didn't understand what happened, what the penalty was for Article 15. So throw that in chat for me if you can. Got some other stuff that we're going to talk about. Now, this is an interesting picture because we talked about this briefly on this podcast. And it also came up during the interview with Sailor Eddie. Let me explain this to you. Now, this picture was posted by, looks like a John Wyatt tattoo photo. And I don't know who the guy is. It's not somebody I follow, but I'm probably going to follow him now that if he's posting this kind of stuff. I only knew about it because I got tagged in it. And this shop is actually Jack Dracula's shop. This was when Jack Dracula, I just said Drac, when Jack Dracula was in Camden. So this is the shop that was down the street. And I'm going to actually flip it over so you can see. Man, why do I keep saying Drac? Jack Dracula opened a tattoo shop down the same street as Sailor Eddie's in Camden, New Jersey, in an attempt to fool people who came to town to get tattooed by Sailor Eddie. Dracula called his shop Eddie's. Tom DeVita, the famous tattoo artist, was one of them. He was getting a dagger with a snake, and when he looked down and saw that the first line of the dagger was crooked, he got up, put his shirt back on, and he said to Dracula, "I don't think you're Eddie, but if you are, your work is shit." And then walked out. And it says, note the marquee on the shop that says 1 million tattoo designs. I think there were only 979,000, whatever amount Dracula said or had. He couldn't tattoo any of them well, whereas Sailor Eddie and his wife did excellent. I can't see what it says. old school tattooing. So I guess here is Sailor Eddie's response. And he said, if you've listened to my interview on Tattoos in Review, you'd get the part where Esther said, I need more bullets. So there you go. That was, he talked about it in the interview, but did not mention names. And that's him actually letting the cat out of the bag. And like I said, the only reason I knew about it was because he tagged me on it in his response. So, yeah, that was this. So when people talk about Jack Dracula and how other tattoo artists didn't like him, that's some of the shit why. So not only did, he pull some shady shit with Sailor Eddie and Esther, but he also did it to Philadelphia Eddie as well.
And Blackie.
And Blackie, yeah. So I think, wasn't Blackie the one that did the face mask on him?
I think Catalano did the face mask on him.
I'd have to look that up, but I'm not 100% sure.
But he was so Dracula was working in Blackie's shop, and he fell in with the freaks, with the cognac, with the sideshow guys,
Yep.
who convinced him to get his face tattooed. But what happened is that one night there were so many people in the shop looking at Dracula's face tattoo that it was interfering with business. So Eddie, Philadelphia Eddie, was like, Jack, you got to go. You can't work here anymore. This isn't the sideshow. This is a tattoo shop. And, according to Eddie, for the rest of his life, Dracula followed Eddie around to the best of his ability, trying to steal his work.
He did.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why Jack wound up being in Philly. And, there was some comments on that. I probably should have put them in there. But there was some comments in there where a majority of them were like, I've never seen a good Jack Dracula tattoo. And then the one dude was like, why do you think that is? Because he couldn't tattoo worth a shit. Which is nuts. Man. I mean, look, the dude's not here to defend himself. But I think that it's been proven time and time again that he was kind of a scumbag.
Yeah, I don't know.
You know what I mean? He's got multiple stories that say that that's the case. Yeah. I don't know, man. I don't know him, so I can't say that.
I guess I feel a little bit of sympathy because the last time I saw Dracula was at a Philadelphia convention. He was
he in his little scooter? He
was in a chair. He was bent in half, and I mean, don't quote me about this. Don't quote me on this, but the impression I got was that it was Lou Rubino and Philadelphia Eddie were running the convention, and they kind of set Jack into the other room where he could sign autographs out of some kind of they felt sorry for him because he was in bad. He was in bad shape.
So I know he was really financially not in good shape towards the end, and
right.
I know that there's some videos. I think they're still up. There was a video of Jack. I don't know who was interviewing him. I kind of got the impression, and I could be wrong about this, that it might have been like a family member. It's on YouTube, and it's Jack in a hospital bed, really. Thing in his nose. He got a hospital gown on, and he's talking about tattooing and back in the day and stuff like that. And look, man, I'm not heartless. I obviously feel bad for anybody that's put in that position, but there's a lot of stuff that he did that kind of he created his own problem.
Yeah.
So, the next picture I got for y'all, I thought,
and that, before we go on, if anybody is curious about DeVita was a weirdo.
He was definitely a weird cat.
Yeah, so people that like DeVita's work are definitely people that like a very alternative way to look at tattooing and tattoo art. It's not really my thing. I have respect for Tom DeVita. He got a really beautiful, I think it was the Mandarin. He got the Mandarin tattooed on his back by Huck Spalding. So I think I would have appreciated hanging around with Tommy DeVita and picking his brain and like talking to him because he seemed like a real character. But his art just wasn't, it wasn't my particular thing. But if it's an interesting, if you want to go down a little rabbit hole, yeah, check out DeVita's stuff. It's pretty,
Well,
it's unique.
what's also interesting about that is, that's obviously the first time that DeVita came down to try to get tattooed by Sailor Eddie. But
I mean, he was tattooing out of the Lower East Side out of his apartment.
who, DeVita?
DeVita, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it was rough.
And well, so DeVita, we talked about it in the interview with Eddie that he had I can't remember what it was on his leg or whatever, and Malone saw it or whatnot. So obviously Sailor Eddie tattooed him, DeVita. So obviously it must have been after this altercation.
So I have a lot of respect for Scott Harrison. I think he tattoos in Seattle now, and Robert Ryan, who tattoos in New Jersey, Binky, right? And both those guys are very art-minded tattooers.
Mm-hmm.
Like they see tattooing in a way I don't see it. You know what I mean? And both of those guys are really huge. They love the essence of DeVita's work, and I have a lot of respect for both those guys.
Right. This next picture is cool because this talks about something that Justin and I have actually talked about on this show before. Okay, cool. I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to read this. Let me see if I can blow this up, though, real quick, just so make it just a little bit bigger. And then when I go to the next slide, I'll have to make it small again. So this gentleman in this picture is Sailor Joe Deaver. JoJo, 1971, when him and Tom worked at Crazy Eddie's in early 1970s. JoJo was a crazy, tough Kensington guy. Him and Tom were longtime friends. This would be Tommy Knapp, who Justin and I have talked about before. And they were longtime friends. JoJo's grandmother knew Deefy and took Joe down and was tattooed by him before he was a teenager. So he was tattooed by Deefy, who was a very famous, back in the day, tattoo artist. He was friends with Sailor Eddie's grandparents. This is the part of the story where we have kind of talked about this before on the podcast. JoJo passed away one day, years later, on the sofa at Philadelphia Eddie's on Arch Street shop while just stopping in to say hello. You can ask Topper about it. He was there.
Yeah, so Topper's interview with Eric Perfect.
Yeah.
He goes into it.
So, yeah, we've kind of brought this up before, but we didn't put a name to it. To me, I was like, you know what, man, I'm putting it on the show today because we've talked about this, and I got to see a picture. We now have a face to go with the story that we've heard. And,
right, so if
I didn't know it was Sailor Joe.
So if you haven't heard the story, while he
Just
passes,
don't say what we talked about.
Yeah, he passes away, and naturally the police come because there's a body in public,
Right.
more or less, and so they put up the yellow tape, to do their investigation. And Topper in the interview says, people are still coming in the shop, walking around the body and the police, asking about tattoo prices. Like walking around the crime scene. And I got to tell you, man, that was like...
Welcome to Philadelphia, folks.
Oh, excuse me. Here, let me just kick that hand out of the way a little bit. How much for the... How much...
Dude, that is so Philly. It's not even funny.
How much for the Tasmanian Devil?
So the next little thing that I got for y'all today is I thought you would all really appreciate this, and Justin hasn't even seen this yet. I actually put this picture in the reel that I made for Lady Luck. I wanted to show you all the picture today because I think a majority of the people that listen to this show are friends with Jesse Martinac. You know, Body Graphics. It's on Instagram. You could check him out. The dude's got hysterical reels, man. His reels are so funny. And a lot of it revolves around, not a lot of it, but there's times where he'll do, you know, reels that are revolve around his dad or his grandpa. You know, I mean, look, dude, his grandpa was worked with Lyle Tuttle during the, you know, late 60s, early 70s. So all you are old enough to kind of get where I'm going with that was going on during that time frame. So yeah. But this is a picture. If you look at top left of this, that is Jesse's dad. And he looks just like Jesse. I mean, then there's another shot of the shop, and then there's a one of the tattoos they did, and then there's one of the original RENO Body Graphics tattooing pictures. I just thought I would share that with you all because you know, Jesse is pretty well known, but I don't think that his dad and grandpa get enough love. That is gonna hopefully end once I get to Reno and I get to interview Jesse, because I want to sit down and talk about not only his grandpa but his father, and then the creation of Picture Machine, which was you know, a mainstay in the craft of tattooing for,
Absolutely,
you know, quite some time.
I mean,
there's
you know, a whole generation of tattoo shops based around Picture Machine Flash.
Right.
So like with this stuff, and with the story we were just talking about, the body and Eddie's tattooing. So was it last week or the week before we were talking about the Manson girls?
Yeah, but don't bring that up.
I'm not bringing it up.
Okay.
I'm just saying that, like, when you see things on Instagram about, you know, the kids today couldn't understand what tattooing was like back in the day. Like,
yep.
Yeah. Even, I mean, I'm not even that old. I'm only 50-something. But the tattooers that came before me,
crazy.
They were, yeah. They were scary dudes.
And the only reason I just told Justin not to bring it up, because I don't want him to give away the good little tasty bits that I have about that story in an upcoming episode. So I don't want to give away. That would be like giving away the plot to a new movie that's coming out and ruin it. So I don't want to. We'll talk about it on some occasion, but I just don't want to ruin it. Bill O'Connell answered us about the Article 15.
That's just general conduct unbecoming, right?
I'm sorry. Actually, Scott Force answered and said 31 days in a Navy brig for a tattoo I had done in Japan. Got shipped out right after the Tabori tattoo, and well, things went bad because I couldn't care for it on the ship. I had a gal lose control of. Oh, he's talking about something else now. He had a girl lose bodily control functions from passing out in his chair.
Yeah.
And then Bill O'Connell. There you go. Bill O'Connell said Article 15 was a write-up, could affect a promotion for rank. So I knew it had something to do with rank. And in my mind, I was remembering it being like a demotion or whatever, but I didn't want to say that's what it was. So it's impacting your possible promotion.
Yeah. So they weren't going to strip you for rank.
Yeah.
For an Article 15.
Well, Scott Force said I got busted back to PFC with private first class, loss of pay for a month. The actual charge was destruction of government property.
F9.
Wow.
So was that Scott?
Yeah.
So tell me if I'm wrong, because I can't exactly remember what it was, but I knew guys from the Army that used to joke about a thing called F9. And F9 is like plastic sporks. Anything that is single-use disposable in the Army is considered F9. And so some of the soldiers used to get F9 tattooed on them. Like, because disposable property of the military.
Right. Especially if, yeah. He said this was in 89, so things could have changed. So, yeah, Dracula, Nikki said, but Dracula, he still managed to have his name in the history of tattooing. Yeah, absolutely. look, I think that there's always going to be times where people are going to be included in these stories that we talk about in the history of this. Sometimes it's going to be good, and sometimes it's going to be bad. I mean, it just kind of is what it is, right?
So to be
To be fair, though, I mean, he was in it to begin with at the jump because he was a sideshow person, which huge part.
To be fair, right? From what I've read, like Dracula as a young guy was a bookish.
He was very smart, from
Was
what
a
I
bookish
understand.
guy,
Yeah.
and as a person who grew up like nerdy and reading books, who got my balls busted a lot about it, like what's wrong with you that you like reading? I immediately, when I read that about Jack Dracula, I could just picture him in the shop, sitting over there reading like the Odyssey, while the other guys were just like, "Oh, what's wrong with Jack? He's reading a book," which is just something totally in my head. It probably never happened, but I immediately was like, I'm going to take up for the other nerd.
Right.
But yeah, then
Okay,
but
like I
there were
said,
things he did. Like
right.
saying that I'm another tattooer to get work that's shitty.
And then Bill O'Connell just said, Buck, I hope your mom is okay. I'm going to visit my mom this fall. She is 83 years old. So my mom and your mom are around the same age, Bill. And I don't know, man. I hopefully my mom's okay. They think that they got the bleed figured out this time around. So we'll see. Hopefully that is the bleed that they has been giving her problems, and it'll be over and done with, and she can go about her little life that she's got for herself.
So we were kicking around Buck and I for next week talking about
Yeah, I'm sorry to hear about your mom, Bill.
yes, talking about mom.
Oh wait, I'm not sorry. You said your mom's fine. You're going to see her. I'm not trying to put any bad juju on your mom, man. Sorry.
We were kicking around for next Sunday because it's Mother's Day, talking about mom tattoos, moms,
Yeah.
in general, famous tattooed moms.
Yeah, we can do that.
All kinds of just make sort of have a mom centric show,
Dude.
So if you have any mom stories, send them in.
I think it would be hysterical to have my mom come on here.
Absolutely.
Because
Can I have my mom come on? Can we have both moms come on here?
not at the same time, dude, because I don't think either one of us could handle both at the same time. But that would be funny. My mom,
But
she is a cranky
just for
Russian
the
broad.
record, Buck's mom loves me.
My mom's a total sweetheart, but she's definitely Russian through and through, bro. She's got she will throw some hands in a minute, dude. Like she
Maybe we should bring the moms on and have them arm wrestle.
Yeah, no. Nah. My mom, man, she's so old now. She's like brittle at this point. But she used to be a bad broad, man. It's funny because, she was talking about that today, like all the crazy shit she had to put up with when I was a kid. And, I constantly have to tell her I'm sorry about stuff that I did, 30 years ago. But, yeah, she's good. I love my mom to death. She's funny, but hopefully it all gets squared away. There was something else I wanted to talk about. I don't want to jump off yet because I think there was something else I wanted to talk about. And I can't.
So
that's
okay.
what yeah, because don't sidetrack me, man.
All right, before we go, I want to tell my favorite mom story now.
So I know that I saw Lau post this. I saw Matt Lauder talk about it, and I wanted to share it with you guys just in case you may have not seen it. I thought this was really cool. I don't know. I'm not going to be able to play the video, but I'm going to go ahead and just add it, and we'll talk about it. I think I'm going to try to pause on the pictures. I can't play the actual video, or I'll get copyright strike. So in London, they had the gathering of the Tattooed People Society at Clerkenwell pub, and apparently they've been meeting in this pub for 50 years.
Sweet.
And Lau Hardy actually put it together this year. And I'm going to stop real quick. And, yeah, cool. That girl on the left, can you see that, dude?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's Mang. She's the girl that works for Lau.
Lyle?
Yeah. She's awesome, dude. She's funny as hell. Dude, you should see her work. She definitely excels in the Chinese, Japanese, that type of work. Here is another cool pic of a bunch of tattooers hanging out with Lau and Mang. There was I don't know a lot of people by face, but like I know the dude from like Rambo's Tattoo. I think the dude that worked on Cash Cooper's book was there. There's Lau there. Lau's looking good, man. He lost a lot of weight, dude. Hope he's doing okay. I haven't talked to him in a bit. I'll have to give him a quick what's up. Yeah, so there's some cool pictures. Let me turn this off. I don't want to. Yeah, so it was just a cool like meeting of a bunch of tattoo artists. Not everybody that was there was a tattoo artist, though. Right here is the author. Oh, I said Arthur. The author, Matt Lauder, who wrote the book Painted People. He just put out another book. He actually was nice enough to answer me and talk to me when I was doing the George Burchett episode. There was I got conflicting sources on some information about George Burchett, and he helped me kind of decipher through some of that. So I just thought it was really cool, man. And it makes me wonder like why we don't have something like that in the United States now. Like Bristol Tattoo Club is still going strong in the UK.
Do you think it has something to do with national character?
How so?
Because I would think the Brits, because it's such a smaller place, have a stronger, like they have a stronger identity as they're British tattooed people. Do you understand what I mean?
Maybe.
Versus like, in the United States, we're Americans, but we're Americans from,
because we're so about individualism here.
Yeah, it's so big.
Interesting.
The idea that America should be 6 nations. You ever run into that idea?
No.
Yeah, so my daughter travels extensively by car back and forth across the United States. And she was the first one that turned me on to the idea that really America is basically made up of 6 separate nations, culturally, I'm going to slaughter this word. Geographically. Like that, when you're in the deep South, that is another planet from Oregon versus the Rust Belt versus
our moderator Nikki just said Texas is its own country.
Right.
It is definitely they have their own way of doing things. Yeah, but I could see that, man, because I mean, like if you look at the Northeast, dude, like the people from, let's just say New York, New Jersey, PA, I'm even going to include like the Connecticut people. That would be a whole different region within itself. The people above them, Maine, Vermont, New Hampshire, that's their own little Rhode Island. That's their own little deal.
The Bible Belt, the Rust Belt.
Yeah, I mean, I know that you could see maps of the U.S. sometimes, and it'll be broken out into regions or whatever. But I still don't think that should take away from the fact that we should have something like this in the United States. I think it would be freaking amazing.
How many Englands can we fit in the United States?
Oh, I don't know, man. Like 3, maybe 4.
Oh, I would think 6.
Maybe. I don't know.
Somebody want to Google that?
But I think that would be something. Hey, man, maybe it'll be maybe it'll be us, dude. Maybe we'll create that thing.
Dude, I'm all about it.
I think that would be freaking amazing.
Can we have a weight limit though?
Why?
You can't be in our tattoo club if you're under 260.
Dude, there would be a small club then. That wouldn't be fun.
Every tattooer, every tattooed person over.
Dude, you just said under 260.
Yeah.
So that means it would only be all like overweight people.
Yeah, fat tattooed people.
The Fat Tattooed People Society? Jesus, dude. No, man.
We could have like our symbol could be like a cheesesteak with a tattoo gun sticking on the top of
Hey,
it.
Stephen Street just said the UK is divided in many ways. Also, yeah, I mean they're very much like Northern England, Central England, Southern England. That they have little things against each other.
Is it 4? 40? 40.
Jesus.
Yeah, it's a big place, man.
But anyhow, man, I thought I would share that with you all because to me, man, it just seemed like it was really cool, and I think, man, that would be cool to do here. I don't know where. See, the thing is there it's like London, right? It's the London Tattoo Society or the London Society of Tattoo People, so it's not like it's a national thing.
Well, there have been
So it
tattoo
would have to
clubs
be
here,
like,
right?
yeah. So
There's the National Tattoo Club,
Al Shifley
Ohio.
had the Sandusky Tattoo Club. That Les Skews actually, he was very instrumental in creating that group, and I almost going to say gave the blessing for Al Schleifele to start it because it's not like he needed his permission, but he was instrumental in putting that together.
I'd be curious, because I have no idea, but I'd be curious to find out whether the English tattooers among themselves were the same way the American tattooers were among themselves. Like, did they cooperate more than us? Or were they, like, just as jealous and...
Wait, say that again, dude. I'm sorry. I got sidetracked with a comment.
All right, so the American tattooers at a certain point all hated each other, or there were just small cliques, right?
Uh-huh.
Like Jerry, for instance, hated Lyle, hated Lyle's teacher, whose name just slipped my mind.
Burt Grimm.
Burt Grimm, right? Were the British tattooers like that too, or were the European tattooers like that too, or did they cooperate more with each other?
I don't know, man. That would be a good question for me to
Yeah.
ask either Matt or Lau.
Yeah.
Be interested to know. Yeah, so I got sidetracked because both Sarah and Nikki at the same time were chiming in saying about the US could fit the UK, Scotland, England, and Northern Ireland. Northern Ireland and Ireland would fit over 40 times inside the USA. And then Stephen Street just said Wales, Scotland, Ireland, Cornwall, Wales. So
really, you guys have to understand that this is the American education system.
Yeah,
I
bunch
thought
of dumbasses
I
that know
thought
nothing
four
about anything outside of the United
I'm
States.
like, could it fit 4 times?
And I said no, so I'm just as bad, dude. Jesus. Stephen Street, are you from Wales? I noticed you got the Wales flag up there, so I'm thinking you might be if you already got that in your repertoire.
Isn't that the dragon?
Yeah, man. That's the most dope looking flag ever. And they also have the town with the longest name in the history of names. It's like right above Wrexham.
Right. Wow.
I can't think of the name of the town. I wouldn't be able to pronounce it anyway, even if I knew it.
So that
The
reminds
dude,
me.
Simon J. Wills was there, and he did a episode from there, and he can say the name of the town, and it's like a sentence. I mean, that's how long it is, dude. It's crazy. So Stephen Street, yeah, sweet, dude. You're from Wales.
So I was going to ask you something.
So wait, Stephen, can you type? No, don't type it. Don't, because you're wasting your time. Because there's no way I'm gonna even pronounce it, and if I tried, I would hack it.
Do you have pub etiquette?
Pub etiquette?
Yeah, like because you've been to Britain, right?
Yes.
Do you have pub etiquette?
How so? I think I do. Yes.
Because I saw this whole thing on YouTube about British pub etiquette and how to act in a British pub, and I remember thinking to myself, I wonder if Buck has proper pub etiquette.
I do. The thing that threw me off about the whole, so the one part of the pub etiquette that I don't have I do now, but
Right.
that threw me off. Here in the United States, if you're sitting at the bar, it's kind of almost like you're used to being like, well, obviously I don't drink, right? So if I go,
Well, you did.
You
You have some experience drinking.
yeah, I got just a little bit of experience.
You have a
Anyway.
master's degree
Yeah.
in drunkenness.
I'm so used to tipping, but tipping's not a thing.
You don't tip in Britain?
No, because it's actually built into your bill
Ah.
at a pub or a restaurant. It's the gratuities I kind of added into it. They call it a service fee, I think. So here I am getting service fees and I'm banging 10s and 20s on the bar. They were loving me. And then the
Nice.
girl at the place I went to do Sunday roast, which is like a big thing in London, or well, in England. I'm sorry. I went to do Sunday roast, and I was like, "Oh, can I put a tip on the card?" And she was like, "You don't have to do that." And I'm like, "What?" And they're like, "Yeah, we don't. It's not. You can if you want."
But you already did.
But I've already been doing it the whole freaking time I've been over there. Like every time I went there, I've been like, oh, let me throw a couple, and throw them down, and then my handful of change, which probably added up to $10 because they got coins that are $5 or what. I don't know, man. Whatever, dude. So I don't remember what I asked him, but he said via Portugal, Denmark, Indonesia. The Welsh town with the longest. Oh Jesus, dude. I'm gonna throw it up on screen because there's no way I'm even gonna say it. It's Lala Fern Pol Wilga. Yeah, no way, dude.
All right, I'm gonna look on my phone and see if it has the pronounce feature.
It's 58 letters. It's the longest single word place in name in Europe.
In Europe or ever?
I'm pretty sure ever, because I can't see anybody beating that. And I know we're running over time, so if you got to run, that's cool. But we're having fun, so.
All right, longest single place name.
Yeah, just say Welsh town with the longest. And if you try to do this, dude, we could break the internet. Because, and it's crazy because I've actually seen like Simon J. Will. He knows how to say the word. He says the name of the town, and it's like a sentence when he's saying it. And it's like stands for like the town on the side of the mountain by the lake or something like that in Welsh. It's on YouTube how to say it. Yeah. Oh, there you go. Yeah, dude. How to say.
I don't know why.
Hold on.
Yeah, that's what I was looking for.
Welsh town. Long. There you go. How to say the boom.
Yeah, this is a weather report. I was just playing that.
Because he nails pronouncing the name. Here you go. I got it.
You got it?
Yeah, we'll do this. I'm going to stop sharing that.
Nothing if not interesting here on Two Fat Guys.
Okay, here we go. Let me bring it up for everybody else to see. I'll probably got to get a copyright strike, but at this point I don't care because this is too good to not. All right, ready? Make sure so you can hear it. I'll turn up hopefully you guys can hear it. All right, ready?
Yep.
Can't even get it in the video. Ah, you bastard.
Come on, dude.
Come on, man. There you go.
There we go.
So there you go, folks. We don't say we don't bring you stuff, the good stuff. There you have it. So I appreciate you all hanging out. I appreciate you all being a part of our community and being subscribers. We love you all. We hope you have a happy, safe
love you all.
week. And hopefully you'll show up next week. We'll catch you then. See ya.
See ya.